we're live. Hey everybody, it's Kate Richburg and it's Friday. We made it to Friday. It's September 1st, so happy September and happy Labor Day weekend. Oh my gosh, what a week it's been. Super busy, lots of great creativity and stuff around here, so I'm really excited to share this Free Tip Friday with you. I think it'll be a fun one if you're making stuff over the weekend or want a quick weekend project. So Karen is with me behind the camera. Brandwin's bustling around, taking some photos and filling orders all at the same time. We're multitasking as we speak. Who have we got, Karen? People jumping on?
So far, just Bonnie Nesbitt.
Oh, hey, Bonnie Nesbitt. How are you? It's good to see you.
I enjoy saying that name.
Oh, I know. We just like saying Bonnie Nesbitt. Bonnie Nesbitt. It's nice to see you. Well, this technique that we're doing today is kind of a holdover for those of you who saw our Facebook Live on Wednesday. I did these really fun bracelets, the leather and looming bracelets, and I had a lot of stuff, a lot of product left over from just doing this single bracelet. So I thought it would be fun to kind of take those leftovers and create some fun little rings with them. So today I'm going to share with you how I do not only this leather ring, but this peyote stitch ring, which kind of mimics what I did with the looming here on the necklace, or on the bracelet rather. So I'm going to come on around, and we've had some other questions about the string materials and stuff that I'm going to use, so I'll jump right in because I've got a lot of information to share with you. And while I'm doing that, Kara, who else have we got? Other people jumping on?
So Lynn, Lori, and Geeta's in.
Hey, Geeta. Yay. Well, it's great to have all of you guys.
And Melanie just popped
Oh,
in.
awesome. Well, I'm going to come around so you guys can see. Am I coming around the right way?
It's okay.
Okay.
We could just move it.
You'll just move me. You'll move me around. All right. Well, great. I'm going to get settled here, and then I'll show you guys maybe a little more of a close-up of the project and some of the stuff that I've got going on. Okay, Karen's setting the scene so you guys can all see. I can even turn that a little bit more this way. Is that better, Karen?
Yeah.
You just tell me what works.
That's good.
Okay.
Good.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Great. So I know. So I'm working kind of right in here. It's a good way. Okay, fantastic. All right, you guys. So this is the project that I've got to show you today. And let's slide these little guys off. Now, I did with some of the leftovers from the strap leather that we used for the bracelet. I've been playing around with these leather rings for a while, and I've got a few more over here that I made a while back, just out of other scraps that I had. And you can see how I've made these. I just used, as again our 5mm strap leather from beadshop.com, and some of our sliders. These are our home run sliders, and then we've got some of our fancier sliders here. We have a whole bunch on the website, so you can kind of choose what you like, but today I'm going to focus on these home run ones. And you can see, not only did I use it here for this ring, but have you seen my stack? Have you seen what I've been wearing, what I'm wearing? Did you see this right here? I'm going to take this off because I think you're going to really dig it. This is just the strap leather with one of the home runs, and I just glued it together like a bangle. So it's pretty, you know, a ring or a bangle. It's just the difference is the size. So it's really a great way if you've got a little bit of leftover that's not long enough for a project. It's a great way to use up this really luscious and delicious strap leather. Alrighty, any questions so far, Kara?
Nope, everyone's just wowing.
Everyone's waiting for me, huh?
Yeah, Geeta's already linking to metal sliders.
Geeta, awesome. I'm going to put the threads here on the table. Right. So, as I posted on our Facebook page earlier, or last night when I was posting about this project, I was talking a little bit about two of the different, or the fire line that I was using. We just got this fire line in, and you know that Emily has been talking about it on our regular Facebook Lives for a while. And one of the questions that we got, and I think it was from Lindy, who watches us, Lindy, I think from Australia, when you watch us, she asked the difference between Softflex and Fireline. And I said, you know, that's actually a really good question, because they're both really super strong threads, but they do really two different things. The Softflex, to just remind you, this is the 0.014. The Softflex is a nylon-coated beading cable. And you don't need a needle. It's nice and stiff to work. But Janice and I use this, we use this in our Softflex 101 broadcast. I use this just generally when I just want to string little beads into necklaces or bracelets, things like that. I just grab these little 11-aughts. You can see it takes these 11-aughts really well, or all the way up to larger beads. But again, we'd use this with crimp tubes and a clasp. We wouldn't use this for bead weaving. But for bead weaving, we'll get to, or seed bead work, we'll get to, I just want to close this up, we get to the Fireline. Now, I've used Fireline before, I like it, but I hadn't used it in a while, and it was a pleasant surprise to kind of come back to the Fireline. On the projects that we used, that we did on Wednesday, these guys just like to flop around. The projects that we did on Wednesday when we did the loomed piece portions of these guys, this size, this one, and this one, we used our KO thread, okay? And the KO is a nice, supple, fine beading thread, really great for, you know, looming or seed bead work. We use it in our laddering, our infinity stitch. We use this KO a lot. But the Fireline, what I found, because I was making this ring, this peyote stitch ring, and I had, as you can see, some metal seed beads in here. And when you wear it as a ring, it's going to get a lot of wear and tear. So when I said to Emily, I said, would this be a good project for Fireline? She went, yes, yes. So I'm super stoked. Karen bustled and got it up right on the website, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what I've discovered. Any questions or comments so far, Care?
No, everyone loves Fireline.
Everyone loves Fireline.
Like, Fireline.
I guess I'm late to the Fireline party, I suppose. I don't know. I've used it before, but you know, I'll be honest, and you guys know from what a lot of the jewelry that I make, I mostly do metal fabrication, but stringing really is my first love. And believe it or not, you know, seed beads, I've done a fair amount of seed bead work in my life, but that was like pre-Fireline. It was mostly when we used things like Nymo thread or, you know, like the Superlon and stuff like that. So I come from the way old school version of seed bead weaving. But it was really great. So this is what I've discovered, okay? So here's the Fireline here. We're carrying it right now in just the 4-pound, and we're carrying it in the smoke and in the crystal. For this dark one here, I used the smoke, and it was perfect for that. The thread kind of just disappeared. But when I started this ring yesterday, you guys, I was at home. I wasn't here at the office, so I was kind of looking around for something to cut it with. And so I grabbed my wire cutters. The wire cutters really didn't work. And I had scissors, but I had really good scissors. And this Fireline, it's braided, and it almost feels like wire. So I didn't want to like nick my good or dull my good embroidery scissors. So I kind of hacked away, I'll be honest, with the kitchen shears. Karen's giving me the total side eye and laughing. But I was worried about how I was gonna cut it. So this morning when I got in, I grabbed my Xuron thread scissors because this is exactly what these have been made for. It's great for our other threads, our KO, our, you know, our micro Ceylon or Ceylon, but, and Zuron, if you're out there, or if you watch this later, you can comment on it, but you can see, I'm going to show you, one edge, can you guys see, one edge of that shear is serrated, and the other edge of this shear is not, right? That it's that serrated edge that helps you to grab right on. Let me grab this fire line here, because you can see my kitchen shears really kind of tore this end up. But if I come in here, that serrated edge grabs onto the fire line, holds it still, so when I make a cut, my cut is a super straight across flush cut. So the cutter of choice for fireline, the Zuron thread scissor. Bless you, Zuron. So I'm going to, let's jump in by first, let me do this, part of this leather ring first. Then we're going to jump over to the beaded ring, and then we'll finish up with the leather ring, so I time my gluing correctly.
Well, quickly, Kate.
Yep, sure.
Do you know if Fireline makes any other colors?
You know, I think that there is a clear, more of a, it's not smoke, it's not crystal, and it's not this dark. It's like a lighter gray, I think. I'll be honest, I don't know the color name of that. Maybe somebody out there, you guys know what the other color names are. Honestly, way back in the day when I was doing my bead weaving, with Nymo thread, Nymo really only came in a few colors, so I'm really used to either having black thread or white thread, and I use black thread for darker projects and white thread for lighter projects, and it seems to work for me. But we'll take a look into that and see if they do have the other colors, but this is just what we're trying out now.
Lynn says they only have clear and smoke.
Okay, that's it. Clear and smoke. Bam. So, to start the leather ring, this is it right here, and I've got that home run slider, and I need to make sure, Karen, that I'm not crazy with my time, because I have enjoyed this project so much that I'll want to talk about it all day, so keep me on the straight and narrow, would you? So for this guy, what I'm going to do, what I did last night before I left, I actually glued into one side of the home run slider the leather, so it would be nice and ready to go for you, for me to do today. So I'll show you kind of how I do that first side, and I'm going to come in, and would you hand me the wire cutter that's over there next to you, Care? That's the one that I want for this. For this, since this is the studded leather, I can't get the slider past that little stud. Can you see that? With the stitched or the plain leather, it's not as difficult. But you're going to just come in and kind of, I do want that stud to show on the ring, so I'm going to come in on this studded leather and cut away my excess. Now, essentially, what you're going to need, let me backtrack here for just a moment before I get too involved with this. I'm sorry, I'm so excited, you guys, that I didn't really share what you might need to use. What I have here is I have a plastic baggie protecting my work surface. I've got my Zap glue gel that I'm going to be gluing with. I've got my scrap 5mm leather, and then I've got my 5mm slider, and then I'm using my Zuron tool to go ahead and trim across the top of this leather. It gives me a nice clean flush cut. So those are the tools and materials you'll need. And of course, as always, you can find everything on our website at beadshop.com. And you know, you guys, if you do miss these Free Tip Fridays, because they go back pretty far, they're all archived on our YouTube channel, on YouTube at beadshop.com, and there's a lot of really great tips and techniques and like what I like to call like fast weekend projects where you don't have a lot of time to invest, but you really want to make something. So I'm going to use this Zap glue, and Emily and I extolled the virtues of this Zap on Wednesday on our Facebook Live broadcast. So there's more info about it there, but we just love it for gluing metal. Yep, question, Kara?
Yeah, if we don't have sliders, what else can you use?
Oh, I don't know. Let's be inventive. You must have maybe a big hold bead, maybe, that you can maybe cut the leather so the leather maybe is pointed, you know, kind of like, I don't know, like this maybe, so it would fit into something. I don't know. You could really be inventive. You could also glue your leather one over the other on top and maybe silk wrap it or something like that. You'd have to make your ring a little bit bigger, but I bet you could be inventive. I'd love to see what you do if you do come up with kind of a fun idea. I've let my gel, my glue, my Zap kind of sit for a moment, so now when I slide my slider on, it's a little tacky. Now see, there's a little bit of glue there, so I get my toothpick, and that's why working on a plastic baggie, you know, Janice always laughs when I work on a plastic baggie. But, you know, she's the one who taught me how to do that years ago. When we had our brick and mortar store, we put in these nice brand new counters, and we made a rule, no gluing at the counter. But of course, I was a rebel, so when I'd glue at the counter, so I wouldn't get glue on our nice, fresh, brand new counters, Janice would slide a plastic baggie under what I was doing. So she may laugh, but she's the one. You taught me how to do it, JP. You also want to come in. So see how, since I let the Zap kind of set up, that slider is really sitting on there and not moving around too much. But what I also want to do is I come in here with this end, and I want to clear out any little extra glue so that when this sets, I can still get the other side of my strap in there. And I want to make sure that it's on pretty straight, that it's not on at a wonky angle. So now I'm going to set this aside for the moment, and let's get to the beaded portion of this set of rings. And I'm going to slide my glue out of the way. Questions so far, Kara? We're good? Still good?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's just suggesting what they could use. Someone said rivet,
yeah,
wire.
You could totally rivet it together. Rivets are something, you guys, that are near and dear to my heart. And we're going to be adding some of those in soon because we've got stuff to rivet, I'm telling you. So let me, am I in, how's this? We're good? So now let's look at this beaded ring. I'm going to put these back on their little thing, their little fancy little ring display here so you guys can kind of see what's going on. There we go. That makes it a little bit easier. You guys will recognize this board from our Wednesday broadcast when Emily was doing the looming. But I wanted to kind of show you and compare the looming, this loomed project, to what I have here with the peyote stitch. Now, you could, if you wanted to do these and make these loomed, I'm sure that you could do it. You could loom a piece, and then you could really cut off and have a lot of tails, and then bring your piece together and take all of these little threads and weave them back in. But I feel like the closing of this portion would take almost as long as the looming of the length that you need. Okay, so I think that doing this in peyote, like Emily did in the ombre peyote project, is actually a lot faster, and it makes the ring. In the looming project, we've got 3 rows. Here I did a 4-row peyote stitch, and the ring is just a little bit wider, and I think therefore making it a little more durable. So the way that we get started to make these, and I'm going to refer to Emily's peyote stitch Facebook Live project. I think it was back in July we did that. And she really details on how to do the peyote stitch and, you know, the ins and outs of it. I know a lot of you already know how to do it, and I'll try and go slowly for the first couple of rows so you guys can see that here, but definitely refer back to that Free Tip Friday for Emily. So again, I've cut this with my Xuron thread snip. You guys, Xuron, ballpark, out of the park with this. This is really what this tool was made for. Then I'm going to, as Emily says, needle the thread, not thread the needle, by getting my thread lined up and pushing the eye of my needle right on top of the thread. And look at how easy that strings, you guys. Then I'm just going to kind of give myself a little bit of a tail. And I know you're asking me, well, Kate, how much thread did you use? I probably used about 2 board lengths, or maybe a little over 2 feet. It's a lot of thread, but you do need some extra to weave things back in. So at least have enough so that you don't have to add thread in the middle of this project. Now the leftovers, I'm going to work with this green one. The leftovers from the green project I've got here. I've got, but you can use anything you have. I know that you guys have seed beads at home, and I bet you even have some of our metal seed beads at home. These are our zinc 11-aught seed beads, and these are the 11-aught Delica beads that I used for the green Italian tapestry. Was the green? No. Which one was the green? Was called Ivy on Stone. Ivy on Stone. It was the Ivy on Stone project. Sorry, we have so many. I've got so many projects in my head that I can't always keep all the names straight. So remember when Emily taught us to peyote stitch, when she talked about peyote stitch, that the first row of beads that you put on is actually the first 2 rows? Okay? So I want my first 2 rows, and you can kind of see it here with the ring. I started with, this is a row, these 2 metal seed beads, and this is a row. So that's how I started. I started with the metal. So I simply just put these guys on, slide them on, and I want to slide them so I've got a fairly good tail left, maybe at least, I don't know, 8 inches or so of the tail. Then I've got my seed beads here. Now for peyote stitch, let me get this all in alignment so I'm not fumbling around. For peyote stitch, remember I've got the first 2 rows, so I'm going to turn the corner, I'm going to skip this bead, I'm going to put on a bead. In this case it's going to be the Delica, and I'm going to go through the second bead. Okay, and again it's going to look a little funny. The first couple of rows in seed beads are always kind of a pain in the you-know-what. But you just tell those beads to lay how you put them. Make sure that the holes are laying out by the sides. There we go. So there's the first one I've gone through. Now I skip this one. I put on that Delica, and I go through the last one. And again, we want our tension nice and taut, but not so tight that everything's going to buckle up. Okay. So can you see there's that first, let me flip it around because these guys like to be, there we go. Can you see now that's how, by adding that 3rd row, it made the first row and the second row line up.
No, someone brought up a good question. There's no stopper bead today?
Oh, you know what, you guys? You could put a stopper bead on. Honestly, I don't do a stopper bead, and I think it's a great idea that Emily did, so you know where you're starting or stopping, but I've just never stopper beaded. So if a stopper bead is for you, by all means do it.
That's the rebel in you.
It is. I'm a seed bead rebel. Sorry, Emily Miller. She's probably watching, cursing my name. So see how I've just flipped the work, and so now I'm going to put on another row of delicas. So I go 2 rows of delica and 2 rows of 11/0. And so I'll slide that on, skipping that little space, sliding my other one on, my other delica. Come on, there it goes, and sliding through this last one. And this is a great project too. You're not really invested in like A, a lot of beads, or B, a lot of time. A 4-row peyote stitch is almost the fastest thing you can do. So see, now I have that row on, so now I'm going to flip it, and it's time for 2 rows of 11/0. And the way that I did this, you guys, and I'll show you in a second why I chose this pattern, because I have a couple of little samples that Emily made for me that I'll show you a little bit of a difference in the lineup. But you know, you do you. If you want to vary the pattern a little bit, you can do that too. You can also make this band a little bit wider. I did 4, you know, a row of 2 and 2 or 4 beads across. But if you want to do, you know, a row of 6 or even a little wider, a row of 8, if you like your rings a little bit bigger, you go for it. You do you.
And then I saw that someone already answered this, but maybe for the viewers later. How does Fireline do with getting wet? And
you know what? I'll be honest. I don't think it affects it, but maybe someone with a little more Fireline experience than I. What was the verdict, Karen?
They wouldn't get it wet.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah. You know, and any threads, and you can test it. I mean, I might test it. Maybe I'll leave my ring on and go wash my hands just to report back. Any testing or any time that you get your threads wet, threads don't like water, at least in jewelry. So you want to try, if you are going to wash your hands or something on this, I might take off your little beaded ring. But can you see, you guys, now things are starting to establish. I'm getting a little piece that's a little bit easier to hang on to, and I've gone 2 rows of delicas, 2 rows of 11/0. And the 11/0 are slightly bigger than these delicas. So that's why I'm putting in a row of 2 and 2 so that they fit together pretty nicely. And I'll show you on the piece that Emily made how some different patterns affect your tension a little bit differently.
Well, people are chiming in now saying it's just fishing line, so getting it wet shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and so that's what I was thinking. So Fireline came to us from the fishing industry. It was a fishing line that people used, and it is super strong. And so when I tried to kind of just break my thread, you know, because sometimes with like your nylon threads or whatever, you can kind of break them. They're strong, but you can cut them. I was really having trouble with it. So that is why my tendency to say that with Fireline you could get it wet without too much trouble. But you also, I don't know if your beads really like to be wetted, honestly. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Come on now. There we go. So you can see I'm starting to establish my little ring pattern, and you can see eventually it'll be a little ring like this. Now let's take a look at some of the ones that Emily did for me on Wednesday when we were kind of playing around with this idea. What she did was she came in, can you see that okay, Kara? Or maybe I should put it, is it easier if I put it on the pad? What do you think?
It's good.
Better? Okay. So Emily kind of did some different rows of, see how she did kind of a little chevron with these beads coming up and down, and you can see that also kind of made all of the peyote sit nice and tight. Here's the peyote with just the delicas coming in, and then you can see here if you put just the 11/0 on the outside, you've got a little more of an open or a lacy stitch. Or you can put the 11/0 on the inside, and that really shows nicely. See how she was doing in this little sample, delica, 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 then doing a portion of the 11/0 on the inside, and then she could do delica, delica, delica. So it would be a little more like a ring that had, you know, a center, which I also love. I think this is also really cool.
That's crazy.
They're nice patterns, huh? And again, this is just 2 and 2, you know, 2 different beads in different configurations. So really nice ideas in there. So I have one that's finished here, and I want to show you how to finish things off. What I did was, you can see I started, let me get these little beads out of the way, or else it's going to go badly for me. All this fire line around here, there we go, and let me get that out of the way, there we go. So you can see this is the side where I started, and I've got a nice long fire line tail, and then over here is the side that I'm finishing. So I'm going to come in, and I'm going to put on, oh, I didn't put on a needle. Do any of you, and I haven't done it because I liked the feeling of the thread, but any of you out there that work with Fireline, do you wax it? Do you prefer waxing it? I found that everything is really holding together nicely, and it's already pretty slick, so I didn't do any additional waxing. So I'm going to come in, and you can see how I just finished with a row of the regular beads. So I'm going to finish with a row of, or not the regular beads, but the 11/0. I'm going to finish with 2 of the delicas. I want to make sure that's right. 2 of the delicas here. 1 and 2. And what Emily says, or what she said to me, and Kate, we just zip it up the middle. We just have that seam. And it's pretty easy to do because the beads just fit right into one another. So let me show you. This, I get this other end, and can you see there, it's a little fiddly, but can you see how there's the little, there's a down bead and an up bead and a down bead and an up bead, and on this row there's the up bead and the down bead. You know, it's completely opposite. So the peyote will just fit in between. So I'm going to start with the needle that I've stitched, and I'm just going to act like it's peyote stitch. I'm going to grab that bead and come through this bead. It's going to look a little messy, but bear with me here because again, we're going to tighten everything up. And then, can you see I'm going to go through this sticky outy bead right here, if I can maneuver it, and go to that bead. Okay? And then I'm going to turn the corner and lock it in one more time. Lock in that one, and just go through that row one more time. And just follow your little thread path, you guys. Follow the little beaded path there. There we go. So now I can kind of pull things in tightly, and I can make sure, oh, there's a little bit of a gap there. Let me see if I can walk that thread. There we go. That looks good. So now I've got these 2 tails, and I'm just going to weave them back into the piece. So I'm just going to go, remember how Emily said that it's easy to kind of just shoot them through the diagonals? So that's what I'm doing. But again, I don't want to screw up the tension on these. So if you do make them too tight, they're going to warp. So again, make it tight, a nice taut piece. but not so overly tight that it warps. And then I'll come in and I'll go through maybe just half right here, and then I'll turn the corner right there and go through those two guys and out, and I'll come up with my thread cutter, being careful only to snip that thread, and that's it. And then I'll do the same thing with this other one. And then you have your little, let me get this on there so you guys can really see it. You've got ring number 2. Look at that. So let's finish up with doing this leather one. Okay, so I glued this last night, but the ones that I glued earlier in the broadcast I've got going on right here, and you can see this is pretty set. Whoops, right here, is that better here? Questions on the peyote before I jump on over to this?
No, people are still talking about the fire line and the getting wet.
Oh, all right, still hanging around with that. I'm going to measure. What I do is I wrap this around my finger, not too tight. You can also wrap it around your knuckle, because your knuckle is usually about the widest point in your finger. And I'm going to add a little bit extra, so I think I'm going to cut about right here. It's a really scientific way of measuring. You could get your tape measure and measure your finger and add a little bit for the the width of the leather, but I just went ahead and guesstimated. I can kind of hold it together and then make sure that it'll all come together, and yes, it does. Now, what happens with, and I'm going to cut this one about the same size, and I'm going to cut it on that side of the, there we go. So what you want to be careful of as I bring this around, you want to really make sure that you've got a nice little interior here, a nice open interior for you to glue into with this. If you don't clear things out here, you'll have some residual glue left in there, and so when you go in to come in and try and glue it, it's going to be a little difficult. So what I do if that happens, because it happened on the ones that I glued last night, I come in, and can you see how I've cut a little tiny angle? I don't know if that's even visible, but I cut a little tiny slope in there so that when I bring it around to put it into the slider, it clears all of the little glue and stuff that's in there. You can also come in and take your cutter, though I don't want to wreck my cutters, it's not the best way to do it, but you can also get your try and get a little bit of this glue out with like a toothpick or the end of a I don't know, a little head pin or something. Knotting tweezers or your awl. Yeah, I've got my awl right here. Even better. Just be careful not to slip and hit your fingers. But yeah, that it's kind of strangely satisfying to pick that out, right? Okay. So once that happens, I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Being really careful not to get too much so it overflows everywhere. Use my toothpick to spread it in there. You want to use something that you can throw away, so I wouldn't use my awl for that. And I just slide that in. I want to make sure that I catch, this is the stitched leather, so I want to make sure that I catch that stitched portion, so I'm actually going to cut a little bit more of this away.
Someone's asking if hypo cement is okay for this.
You know, hypo cement does not set up as fast as you need it to for this. With Zap, in order to be successful with this, it's got to set up right away. And HypoTube isn't as viscous, I guess is the right word, so it won't grab on. That's why I find that Zap is the best. Now this is the side that's a little tricky. I just have to hold it for a few moments, really making sure that I don't have a curve in there. If I do, it's going to dry kind of funky and it won't look right when I let it go. I'm going to take care of any extra glue that's there. Oh, thanks, Karen. Karen's keeping me on my time. All right, just like that. I'm going to hold this for just a moment. Really making sure that's in there. And what I would do is, or you could have like a little clamp, or if you do this with a friend, this is the part that they do, or you're watching a movie and you just hold it for one scene or whatever. But, you know, patience, time and tide. Let's give it a couple more minutes. But you can see with that little slider, you could also put in two if you wanted and glue these together if you wanted something that was a little bit wider. And then you can also see, I'll remind you as I take this guy off, you can also do this with a longer piece as a bangle, which I think looks really, really cool. So questions on this so far, Care?
No.
How did we do?
We're good. People are still saying hello and just making it in. And
oh, great. Well, you guys can always watch this on the replay. And if you don't have quite enough glue, I feel like I'm a little shy on the glue here, you guys. Can you see that? I'm putting a little bit behind here and adding it in there with my toothpick. Gluing is one of my superpowers. I like working with glue. Karen's a good gluer too.
I glue everything.
You do.
Everything.
You are a gluer. With your prairie project.
Nothing ever falls apart on
That's
me.
right. You are a glue queen. Okay. Well, it's like watching paint dry, literally. But there we oh nope, not quite yet. So what I'm going to do is, Karen, I'm going to pass this over to you since you'll be my friend. You're my beading friend today.
Okay.
And this leather is a little more stiff, so it's a little more unruly. But you can see here with the thinner leathers like this, it's a little, oh, this is already, look, it's already in there. It's good. It's not going anywhere. That's awesome. So with your thinner leathers, it's a little bit easier, but we'll go ahead and hold that. And the zap sets up pretty quickly, I think. Don't you find that, Care?
I do.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love hypo cement, but I love the
zap.
Yeah.
I do too. So you guys, that's it. That's all there is to it. I'll come back around real quick and we'll do some signing off, but check it. Super easy, super fun. Use up all of those scraps. Use up your seed bead scraps.
It's good for Grace.
Yeah, you know, Grace, she is the queen of, don't throw that away, I want that tiny little piece. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's lots of great things you can do with this. Well, let me come on around. That was really fun. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I'm going to slip my little rings on because I can. Well, as I said, it's a really fun project, fast weekend. You know, start making them now and you'll have a whole bunch of little sets of rings to give people for the holidays. Drop these in a little organza bag. They're really, really fun to make.
Someone asked, where is Grace?
Oh, yes, Gracie is on a well-earned vacation. She's taking a couple weeks off. She's over in Turkey, and hopefully we'll be seeing her on some Facebook Lives, on a Facebook Live, and we'll have more information about that. coming up. So, but Gracie, if you happen to watch this, we miss you here, and hope you're having a really good time.
Gita's already on it. She said Istanbul.
Istanbul, that's awesome. That's right. Yep. If you follow Grace's Instagram, you'll see some of her her adventures over there. Yep.
Your bracelet. I forgot. Someone wants to see it, and they said, "Can you tell them about
This
it?"
one, or the other one, the Eiffel Tower one. I always wear my Eiffel Tower. This one, the purple one, is of course the Italian tapestry project from that I wore. Oh. Yes, the Italian tapestry project from Facebook Live this week, and I just love this purple leather. It's really cool. And this, I wear this periodically on. This is one of my, I don't know, my signature pieces. I don't know, I love this piece. It's just an old vintage enameled bracelet that shows different scenes from Paris. And I got it from an antiques dealer years and years ago at the Alameda Flea Market out here in California. So it was really fun. So I wear this all the time. And I think it's fun and colorful, and it makes me smile when I look at it. Another question Karen said that we had was, what earrings are you wearing, Kate? Well, I'm giving you a little teaser of what our project is on Wednesday coming up on Facebook Live. Emily and I are working with Soft Flex, and Soft Flex and earrings for me go hand in hand. So this is our Soft Flex chandelier earring. It features our new check drops and our check melons and check 3mm fire polish, and we've got some brand new seed bead colors. Oh my gosh, you're gonna love them. So we've got 3 fun flavors of those. So those will be up probably on Tuesday, so you can start to take a sneak peek on that for next week's Facebook Live. So that's what I've got going on. So for those of you here in the States who celebrate Labor Day, have a great Labor Day weekend. We're going to be off on Monday. We're taking a well-deserved rest. But we do have a great Labor Day sale going on, so if you have not opened your newsletter, you guys, open the newsletter. But the coupon code is DAY30, D-A-Y 30, and that is actually good through Tuesday, and that knocks, it's one of our biggest sales of the year. It knocks off 30%, so you can get all kinds of fun stuff and shop early for best selection, because when we have sales like this, it kind of knocks us out for a week or two. Well, not a week or two, but people really love grabbing all of their beads and stuff for holiday projects. So it's a good place to start for your holiday shopping. I know, holiday shopping, I know, what? It's just Labor Day weekend, but it's going to be here before you know it. All right, Karen, any parting words? Or shall we say a fond farewell? A fond farewell, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you here with Emily Miller on Facebook Live coming up this Wednesday. Thanks a lot. See you soon.